I have not seen this before in my life. The boos were raining down in the second period consistently for the Montreal Canadiens throughout the rest of the entire game. The Knights absolutely massacred the Montreal Canadiens. The Habs did get some bright spots at the end with Emil Heineman looking like a good player right now. Gallagher getting 2 assists, but it was all for naught. Slafkovsky and Dach both demoted to the fourth line, both with horrible performances. The Montreal Canadiens have a lot of questions to answer in a game that I have not seen a similar game to this since I've been a fan of the Habs, Jesse, and that's a long time. This game here just left so much to be desired and so many questions, and we're about to dive into all of them. We're just going to get straight into it here. No hesitation. I want to start here. Brianna Emmerich tweeting the Habs being relentlessly and rightfully booed by the fans at the Bell Center late in the second. That didn't stop for the entire rest of the game, Jesse. That's something I haven't ever seen. We'll get into some of the lines in a second, but how did you feel hearing that Bell Center crowd not stop? They didn't stop booing from about halfway, where the Knights were scoring in the second period until the end of the game. No matter who touched the puck, Lane Hutson was getting booed with the puck on his stick. This is something I don't think I've ever seen.
And it was rightfully deserved. At the same time, like, the fans were sending a message to this team that they really expect better from them, because it's, this team's going to rally behind them. But if they see kind of those similar mistakes kind of being done, that's when they're going to look to really let the team know. And I think that big thing was kind of slipping in some former errors that we were making before, Josh. Yeah. We saw that before. We were playing a lot more connected, making tighter passes, where I saw there was some bad signs in that first period, even though it wasn't terrible. But they started looking for those stretch passes, making those riskier type of plays where more a lot of the Habs success was predicated on getting the puck deep. We saw so many times where we're turning the puck over at their blue line, and because we're not getting the puck in deep, we're making those riskier plays. We're kind of changing the way we play after those first goals. Those things that we've kind of improved on a little bit. We kind of took a step back. So I think the fans were really letting the team know how they feel about that.
Yeah, and I mean, it was, I don't even know. It was 6 goals in 6 minutes. It was, or not 6 goals in 6 minutes, 5 goals in 6 minutes and 4 goals in 4 minutes. It was one of the most ridiculous showings. It felt like you blink and you miss it. You went to the bathroom, too bad. You missed everything. And it was horrendous. Yeah. Let's just play some of these goals again. Again, just some blown coverage here. That pass should probably be intercepted. And Arber Xhekaj made a couple of big mistakes here. This one here, not getting, that you could argue that's not his fault. But still, this one here, Mike Matheson, I don't know what that was. No desperation there. And I'm not one to go question these guys' efforts. But maybe I will. I'm not in this position. I know it can't be easy, but the Habs are coming off 4 days of rest, Jesse. Did you see this as well? And I feel like the fans saw this. There was a distinct lack of effort from a lot of guys, and that's been something we've seen all season so far. Hockey games are 60 minutes. The Habs played a very solid first and third period. The first and third period, Montreal outscored Vegas 2-1. Problem is, hockey games are 3 periods, and that second period was one of the worst I've seen. And again, even when they started losing, the goals started raining in. I know it's easy to just give up and look tired, and that's what a lot of guys did. Xhekaj did look like he was upset about it. Now, he punched a guy in the face and gave the other team a power play right after Montreal scored a goal. But he looked like he had a fire. Heineman looked like he had a fire. But did you feel the same way, in that there was just a lot of guys who seemingly just kind of coasted for a bit? I hate to say that. And again, I feel like it's tough for me sitting here to judge a guy out there playing a National Hockey League game. But at the same time, I just got to say what I see.
That's the one thing that we really kind of want to see for ourselves, is the effort. And I've been going back and forth. Should the Habs have, the best possible lineup that they can? Should they get some guys that are doing well in Laval to come back, or let them kind of cook over there? This game kind of reinforced for me once again that where the Habs are at right now, they have no luxuries right now. You got to bring in whatever best players are going to help you win right now. In my opinion, that's what a big thing that I'm really taking away from this game, that we really need to have those players in this game for us. So that was the big difference. Josh, I'd like to ask you, when it comes to the effort for this game, our viewers, let us know as well. Is this on the players, or is the effort on Martin St. Louis?
It's a bit of column A, bit of column B, right? You can't. That's such a non-answer, but I'll get to a real answer. The thing is, if you have a certain personality as a player, my answer is this. It's hard to phrase this, but as a coach, you're there to get the most out of your players, no matter what kind of personality type style they have. Because at the end of the day, players are in control of their actions, but motivating people to do things, to get things done, is another part of it too. I do want to say, I think a lot of this is on Martin St. Louis. And again, I still believe in him. I don't believe the people who are saying fire him tonight are the same people that were screaming that he is our savior after the last 3-game stretch. The reactionary takes with the emotions is honestly out of control. I just tune that stuff out. Because again, we're 20 games into the season. At some point, yes, I'll stop saying, oh, we're only X games into the season. But like, again, we're super early in this rebuild. There's a lot that can still be fixed. So I'm not panicking, but I am seeing some trends that are starting to worry me. So yeah, I would say at this point, especially considering it's a consistent problem. It's something that has been addressed by Marty. It's something that has been addressed by the team, the players, the coaches, the general manager, everything, and it's still not getting fixed. Yeah, some of it's on the players, but if you as a coach can't get them to go out and do it, I do think a little bit of that falls on him. And I hate to say that, but like, I'm starting to think that that's a real criticism.
And we're against a team tonight in Xhekaj, who they're one of the Vegas Golden Knights. They're one of the fewest penalized teams in the NHL. And that often comes down to discipline. Those best teams, they're not taking too many penalties in there and showing up every night. And that's kind of a big respect kind of litmus test, for the coach night in, night out. This definitely kind of comes back to both players. And Marty has tried to kind of send that message in a certain way, letting them know that that effort is required. But at the same time, we're seeing he's kind of switching those strategies, a little bit more of that tougher coaching, but you got to feel like a little bit more of that is necessary if some players are kind of slacking. We know it was those players that were demoted tonight, Dach, Slafkovsky, and again, they were guilty on, we know what was getting success for the Habs, and that's what they need to go to correct is making those simpler plays, not going for the riskier ones, especially not against one of the best teams in the NHL like Vegas. Like Montreal's got to know this. Making those simpler play connected, because they've shown when they do that, they have the skill where they can really move the puck well, but moving as a unit kind of on the ice as well, which I feel is so big for this team. Getting pucks in deep as well, where when you're playing against a solid offensive team, sometimes just making those safer plays and just getting it in deep, right? Where you're now preventing this quick transition game against, which really burned us. So we know what it is to be successful, but it's about this young team. And again, I think that's so important. Like, why are they forgetting what's making them successful? It's because they're a young team. It's about kind of recognizing that for the next game going forward, because you know that we're going to have our eyes on them and really expecting that.
Yeah, growing pains are still a thing. Like, I don't care how many fans are calling for their heads. A 20-year-old Juraj Slafkovsky and 22, 23-year-old Kirby Dach, it's not like they're not going to learn from this. Like, I don't know. Like, I get that they're not playing well. They got demoted to the fourth line, but after the game, Doc said, you got to effing dig in and do it right now. No excuses from him. Slav said, Marty saw how I was playing. It was well deserved. These guys know that they didn't show up tonight. And that's the thing. It is a young team. They're still, like, I don't know. Like, it's fun to get angry and call for people's heads. Like, demote them. Call someone up. Replace them. They're garbage. Fire Marty St. Louis. Like, sure. But at the end of the day, like, what do you want to do? If that's really how you want to react after every game, like, it's tough. It's tough to grow. You got to go through these growing pains. What good team, Jesse, has not gone through some stuff like this? What good player, other than like, utter superstars, has not dealt with being demoted to like the fourth line, right? Alex Lafreniere, everyone was declaring him a bust for years, and he's now turning into a very solid player. So for me, I was very disappointed with this game from Slav and Kirby Dach. They were not impressive. Dach has 1 goal this season, none in his last 12. And even on the fourth line, he looked bad. He had a lot of turnovers. It was horrible. Juraj Slafkovsky, I thought, played a big stinker of a game. He was the team worst -4 tonight. But, Jesse, with this kind of stuff is the stuff you learn from. And I know some people are going to say, like, you can only have a certain amount of lessons before you got to prove something or you're just done. But I think Slav has proven. He's shown who that player he is. Dach has shown the kind of player he can be. Those players are not gone. Those players just need to come back. And I think that's going to come with a bit more confidence and hopefully with a bit more effort. And I think the team is going to need to focus on that for the future. That's what I think.
And Slav has shown that he's capable of some really good hockey. Maybe the goals aren't there, but from what he showed us last year, the stats tend to show us that there's a good likelihood that he's going to have a big second part of his season and even the rest of that continuing fairly soon. Because we know what he's capable of. He's just getting more experience from there. But again, it's about knowing what really works and kind of sticking that formula. Again, a big key to success for Vegas, and that kind of the turning point in this first period was the Vegas forecheck, where they were really pressuring us in the offensive zone and then, in their offensive zone. So in our defensive zone, right, we were kind of hesitating on our zone exits. And that's when you really saw the momentum shift. And it really comes down to something as simple as that. When the Montreal Canadiens are really forechecking well, that's when they're creating the turnovers and they're scoring. That's the name of the game with hockey. It's very opportunistic. Again, when we really when we're not absorbing that pressure well in our own end, and then that forecheck is kind of rattling us, and then we're coughing the puck up. Of course, that's the recipe for success. So it's about the Habs recognizing what works in the NHL and getting right back to that.
Absolutely. Like, I'm remembering what these players can be. We know they can get there. Hope they get back. Want to end this video on a positive note, though. We got a few things. Also, Michael Hage had a 5-point game tonight. We'll probably talk about that tomorrow. No space in this video to do it. Just wanted to mention Jacob Fowler again. Top prospect Jacob Fowler has 4 shutouts in 10 games. He's 8-1-0 with a 1.39 GAA, 949 save percentage. I know Boston College is one of the best teams in college hockey. This team is absolutely unreal. Jacob Fowler is 8-1-0 in 10 games. Just quick thoughts on this. I mean, I know it's always tough to take college stats and say, oh, he's going to be so good, because the team in front of him is legitimately ridiculous. Like, they are so good, especially defensively, that it is making his job easier. But at the same time, these numbers don't lie, and he looks comfortable in the net. He makes big saves, and as we've seen with that 1-game suspension, he has that bite, that attitude, that edge, that desire to win. So, wanted to just mention this, Jesse. He's been unreal.
That 949 save percentage, like keeping that up now over that 10 games, like that's an absolutely wild stat. You have to feel like he'd be fired up to have a big performance again. And we're just coming to expect these shutouts from him now. And, he's been asked about his future, as now he's in his second year in the NCAA, and his time with the Habs is slowly getting a little bit sooner here. And he was kind of asked, and I know we'll probably kind of expand into this a little bit more in the future, Josh, but like, what do you think your role kind of is when you get there with the Habs? He says, like, I want to be like an important part of this team right off the bat, and that's bold words for a young guy kind of coming to the NHL. But again, just shows like that winning mindset that he has. All the winners, just like an NHL team, how you start the season's very important. Like, he's coming to the Habs knowing, I want to have a big effect on this team. Like, I want to get cooking right away. So again, kind of showing that winning mindset of why the Habs drafted him, even though he's not the biggest guy in the world there, so again, obviously that those talents are there in net as well. So really the complete package in Jacob Fowler.
Looking forward to that. That'll do it for this episode. Look, that's it. No one's still here at this point in the video. I mean, if you're still here at this point in the video, just leave in the comment section. Just or something like that. I think that, we used to ask for number 4. This time we'll go, whatever you want. 4 A's. How about that? That's how we're all feeling. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. If you want, leave a like on the video too on your way out if you're still here. If you're still here at this point, I think we deserve a like. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one with hopefully some better news.